back again. No intro needed. Let's get into it.
With all the chaos at the top of government, it becomes harder than ever to see an end to the cost of living crisis that has been the daily reality for many, many people in the country for far too long. Instead of beginning tonight's programme with the latest on Liz Truss's chances of survival, not particularly good, but we'll come to that, we are giving a voice to people who are trying to keep their heads above water. It is a frankly desperate tale of ordinary people leading extraordinary lives in ways they can't possibly have imagined in one of the richest nations on earth. One, already in full-time work, can't cut back anymore. Another has no hot water to bath his cherished baby daughter and has to walk miles to do so at his mother-in-law's because he can't afford the bus fare. And yet another, a cleaner who leaves for work in the dark before dawn, cannot even afford to toast the bread she eats. To watch her crying in fear and desperation will be, for many, truly a moment of national humiliation.
On dark, pre-dawn streets, illuminate the lights of those whose lives depend on hard work.
How many days a week are you doing this?
5.
5 days a week?
Yeah.
It's early every time this time of morning? Early starts?
Yeah, no, I've been here since about 4:20.
Liz Wright is 60.
Fuck that. 4:20. Listen, I'm not one of them early bird type of man, yeah? Me, I'm a man, I will joke with myself and say, yeah, I'm going to get up at 5 in the morning. Even today, last night, I set my alarm for 5 in the morning. 5 in the morning came, so I set my alarm and the timer, yeah? So I do a countdown, I work out, okay, in 5 hours and 30 minutes, it's going to be 5 in the morning, yeah? So I'll do that at like 11:30. I'll set my timer to go off for around approximately 5 a.m. and I'll set my alarm to go off for 5 a.m. When the alarm goes off, I snooze it. When the timer goes off, I add an extra 20 minutes. I kept on doing that until it reached about like 6:20 this morning. So if you think I'm getting up at 4:20, you got another fucking thing coming. What happened? Like, I think I used to watch them videos, you know, like them videos, them motivation videos and that. Oh, I get up at 5 in the morning every day. This is what rich people do. Fuck that bullshit. Yeah, I'll get up at 5 in the morning if I need to, but I'm not just going to get up at 5 in the morning for the sake of it. And don't get to say, I've done that before in the past, but nah, I like my beauty sleep too much, boy. Yeah, I ain't going to be working no job that requires me to get up at 5 in the morning. Have done it before. I remember I was working at one construction site in Croydon. And literally, I had to be on the construction site for around 7:15. I had to be leaving my yard at about 5 in the morning to drive 2 hours down to Croydon from Edmonton. Edmonton's at the top of North London. Croydon's at the bottom of South London. So yeah, that was a madness still.
5 years old. She has known tough times before.
You always worked?
Yeah, I need to bring money in.
But nothing quite like this, where her bills are too big to bear. Her wage as a cleaner barely buying the basics.
Toilet rolls once a month.
Everyone had the opportunity to get themselves educated. Yeah, didn't have to be a doctor or something, but even back in her day, I'm sure everyone had the opportunity to get themselves educated. But she decided, you know what? Yeah, I've just finished school, don't really know what I want to do. Fuck it, I'll go and work in Asda and yeah, life will work itself out. And then Asda gets a bit shit after a while. And I'll go and work in a call center, work for some kind of telegram company or whatever it was back in the day. Oh, that's a bit shit. Right, I'll be an admin worker and now I end up as a cleaner and that. I don't feel sorry for these people that are on these low wages, these low paying jobs. Because they had the opportunity to get themselves educated, but they thought, nah, don't need to. It's all right. There's some dumb guys out here who they're like 60 years old and they can't afford to turn on their gas and electric like other people and they can't afford the food costs and that. And throughout their whole life, you know them dumb guys that just have no ambition, like they'll work in a hardware store for 20 years and that. And the thought and the conversation will come up about university and getting degrees and that. And they'll think to themselves, wow, why do I need a degree? You know, I've got a full-time job. I've got a roof over my head. I've got food in the fridge. I've got a house that's relatively warm and that. Why do I need a uni degree? And then when they're 60 years old, I watched a video. A guy walked out into his back garden. Some woman was talking about some client or patient of hers, some old man, walked out into his back garden and shouted for help. Help! because a man don't have no food, ain't got no money for no food, can't afford to put the gas and electric on and that. You had the opportunity from the age of 20 to 50 to make something of your life, and you decided to fuck about and coast along through life. I don't feel sorry for these people, and you shouldn't too. Don't feel sorry for them. If you got the mentality like, you feel sorry for them, you feel sorry for them, you have not developed the accountability mindset. There's only a small percentage of people that are in a position that they could not be helped. Everyone else could be helped. And if you adopt that mindset of, I feel sorry for them, you're going to make excuses for your failures. Bullshit, man.
The next month it'll be the soap powder, and the next month it'll be the coffee, where once upon a time you just went out and bought.
That's what I do.
On good weeks, Liz gets the bus into work.
I even went to the fucking petrol station today to fill up my tank. Do you think I'm thinking, only put £20 in? No, I just fill that ras. I don't even look at the fucking thing. I've got my back to it. I'm just filling it. I'm just like, my grip is getting a bit weak, man. Like, my hand's starting to hurt from gripping this pump and that. I just fill my tank to the brim. I'm not putting £20 in and watching that game. I don't give a fuck. Don't give a fuck. Do you know why? Because I have a high-paying job, because I studied, I live a minimalistic lifestyle, because I'm not a damn fool that feels like he needs to wear Balenciaga's, Balmain and all these watches and drive all these flashy cars and that. I don't feel like I need to impress the people around me or suppress the people around me. So, therefore, when the cost of living goes up, I'm just like, and? Don't give a fuck, blood. And so I have a high-paying job, I live a minimalistic lifestyle, and I'm a good saver. That's why I'm in the position that I'm in now.
On bad weeks, she has to walk, unable to afford the daily £4 fare. Today, she has the money, but the good weeks occur less often now. We meet Liz after her shift. The big worry, keeping her awake at night, is her new energy bill, which has just doubled.
You go in your account and it's £253 the one of a month.
Can you afford that?
Where am I going? Where I can't know.
Are you worried about
Fucking
any
hell.
of this?
Yeah, really worried. Yeah. I don't want to burden my family. My daughter comes once a fortnight for something to eat, and she has to bring the food.
What change have you already made to try and cut back?
I've changed everything. I don't use my cooker very often. I don't have a toaster because I always use my. So it's a luxury to have a piece of toast.
That is bullshit. It's bullshit. How the fuck can you even notice your electric bill going up by pressing by using a toaster? Bullshit. They told her to say that. Bullshit.
Really?
Really. Is it food banks next? Will I be able to keep the house? Because then I'm going to have to explain I've got no money and I can't live. That's not free.
We'll give you a second.
Look, obviously, people going to be watching this, you lot are human beings and you're going to feel sorry for this woman. But I'm telling you, when the times were good, this woman did not give a fuck. She did not think about what possibly could go wrong in the future. When she was down the pub knocking back beers or going on these holidays and that, relaxing and that, or feeling entitled to go on holiday 3 times a year because she's working only a 40-hour shift per week, she was not thinking, right, you know what, I need to make some sacrifice and that so that, I'm good in my future and that. Like I said, the top GFO, man like Andrew Tate, said, there's pain in becoming important and there's pain in not becoming important. If you do not make no sacrifice in your youth and go through struggles and hard times through your youth, you will go through struggles and hard times in your elderly age. At some point in your life, you're going to go through struggles and hard times. I beg you go through it when you're young, fit and healthy. Don't go through no struggles when you're an old, decrepit person with grey hair struggling to put on a fucking toaster, blood. Yeah?
Relax.
This is the Meadowell estate in North Shields. We've spent time here meeting people who've lived here all their lives and some whose lives are just beginning. Fauna was born 8 weeks ago.
Right, did you lot notice that? See here, yeah. When I work in this area that I'm working in, I notice a lot of the tenants, they don't have any flooring. So they don't have carpet, they don't have lino, they don't have laminate flooring, they don't have tiles, nothing. It's just the sub-floor. It's just the sub-wooden floor. It's just the sub-concrete floor. Like, these people's yards I go into, they're proper bruck, you know, like proper poor people. Like, I'll go in people's yards in their bedroom and they just sleep on a mattress, blood. It's fucking ridiculous. But everyone's still got time for a cigarette and a beer. Sorry, money. Everyone's still got money for a cigarette and a beer. Sub-floor to blood clot.
Fauna was born 8 weeks ago, cradled by doting dad Joseph, his first child.
I know.
He and his girlfriend knew money would be tight, but just as their daughter arrived, a chronic pain condition forced Joseph to give up his job.
Ah, how convenient. Let's peel that back.
His first child.
Why has he got red hair? Why the fuck has he got red hair? His hair is the same colour as his daughter's socks. Like, what a blood. Anyway.
No.
He and his girlfriend knew money would be tight, but just as their daughter arrived, a chronic pain condition forced Joseph to give up his job.
How convenient. How convenient.
How tight has the money situation been for you guys?
It's been pretty hard. You run out of money to try and get the formulas and stuff like that you need, especially when you're on universal credit.
But that's not all. They moved into this flat 4 weeks ago to find the gas supply switched off. The previous tenant had stopped paying their bills.
So that's just freezing.
Yeah, no gas means no hot water, no heating.
See, what I don't understand is, yeah, I don't know if you lot pay bills, who's watching this, if you lot pay energy bills or gas bills, because obviously some people live at their mum's yard. Certain man live at their gal's yard, innit? But anyway, let's say, for example, the previous tenant had one of those monthly meters, yeah? So they don't go to the shop and top up. They pay bills once a month, once every 3 months. Let's just call it a monthly meter. Right, let's say, for example, the previous tenant had the monthly meter and they stopped paying the bills. Cool, so they shut off the gas. But now that there's a new tenant in, even if they've condemned or whatever, they've stopped that meter, they should go and install a prepayment meter, i.e. you take a card to the shop and you top up. Why the fuck is there a family in a house where there's no gas and there's no gas working? That don't make no sense to me. Why the fuck has he not phoned up different companies and be screaming down the phone, telling, listen, blood, when are you not going to come and give me fucking gas? I've got a picnic in the yard and I'm freezing and that. There's something fishy about this story. Something's not adding up. Because by law, every property needs to have a gas and electric supply. They should give them, all right, yes. Let's say, for example, the previous occupiers or them cannot be trusted to pay monthly bills and that. Okay, you're supposed to put them on a prepayment meter, i.e. they have a gas card that they have to go down to the shop to top up. If they don't have the money, then they don't have no gas. But they should actually at least have the option to top up. How the fuck's a family with a young baby sitting in a yard, a flat that's freezing cold with no gas supply? That's bullshit, man. I don't believe them. He's lying. He's lying.
The supplier won't turn it back on. New suppliers aren't taking on new customers. And
bullshit! What, they don't want money?
this family are enduring the consequences.
We have to keep her wrapped up with her thick blanket just to try and keep her from not having a face cold and stuff.
God forbid I bring a newborn baby into this world, and my number one priority is keeping that child warm, stopping that child's face from freezing into the yard that I have the child in. No. You see this guy? You see man like that? They just ooze waste manness. Come on. Even if you didn't know this guy's financial situation, just the way he comes across, just the way he talks, just the way he is, the way his whole existence, doesn't he just ooze? Does he ooze high value? Does he ooze a man that's got his life in order? No, the man's a fucking idiot. Look at him, goofy teeth.
gets to a point where
Like
you
slapping him. Rip
don't
off them
know
fucking...
what to do anymore.
All
Rip
they
out
have
that
is this
red hair.
electric heater donated by family.
We have to put it in whichever room that the baby's in, just to keep her warm.
But it's also, I mean, what can that do
Fuck all.
for an entire flat?
And then there's the lack of any hot water.
Like ice cold.
So what are you doing?
Stone cold. I remember when I first got this property, the gas meter was in debt. So, especially with top-up meters as well. Well, yeah, it only works with the top-up meters. So, yeah, with the top-up meters, even if, let's say, for example, there's no money on it, it goes into debt because every day there's a standing charge. So, let's say it's £1 every day. So, even if it's at zero, if you check back 30 days later, it will be £30 in debt because there's a standing charge. So obviously I didn't know about topping up and all this bullshit. My mum pays all the bills and that, innit? So that's because obviously I was living at my mum's house when I first bought this property. So I remember when I came up here, and respect to my brethren Tyrone, he because the gas wasn't, I didn't know how to sort out the gas meter and shit like that, and I never bothered to because I wasn't living here. I was just coming up here to sort out the house and that. I borrowed his electric fan heater. And obviously there was no running hot water, so I couldn't shower in it. So I came up here and stayed the night one time. And I just remember sitting in a yard. Do you know how it's a different level of cold when you're in a house that's just hasn't had no heating on for months, half a year. And I remember running the water after I'd go piss to wash my hands, and the water is stone cold, blood. It's not a nice fucking feeling. Big up to my boy Tyro.
With the baby, to bathe the baby.
And we have to go up to my partner's mum's.
How far away is your mother-in-law's?
Probably about, walk-wise, like 45 minutes to an hour. It's like £4.70 each, just to get the bus fare, which when you're on strict money, it's really hard, especially if you're doing it, if you have to constantly go up. Just to, be able to keep your daughter clean.
This is what happens when you don't have a skill, have a trade, or have an education, and you are also not good with money. Because I know certain man who's electricians who's broke as well. So it's all well and good being a doctor, lawyer. You could be an NBA player, you could be a footballer. If you don't know how to manage your money, you may as well just be broke and have no skill and be skillless and that. But this is what happens when you don't have no skill or no trade. And let's assume, if the person did have a skill and a trade and that, they were good with money. When you have a skill and a trade and or an education, that you don't need to be worrying about paying fucking £4 bus fare. That's nothing. It's chump change. You don't have to worry about being in a house that's fucking freezing cold, blood. These are peasant people problems, blood. Fucking waste, man.
Right.
More children are growing up in poverty in the northeast than anywhere else in England. The current economic crisis threatens to make it worse, hitting families who usually manage.
It's hard to overstate just how scared some people are right now. That fear of simply not knowing where the money's going to come from to pay for the bills, to pay for the food that they need. And I think it's also the fear that this could just be the start, that it could get much worse than this.
I worry about energy prices, fuel prices, cost of living. It's just, I've never felt this anxious or this scared about the future ever.
Lindsay works full time. She has 2 children, a teenage boy and 4-year-old Jasmine.
Oh wow, these are my gingerbread men. Did you bake these? They look amazing. Can I eat them?
Yeah.
Should I eat them?
If you want.
If I want. If I want.
But it's just pretend.
Lindsay has worked hard to provide, but she worries it could be taken away. They rent from a private landlord, but as mortgage rates rise, there may not be the money to meet it.
I'm just waiting for that letter to come through the door to say, I'm sorry, Lindsay, we're going to have to increase your rent. And if that happens, then I just don't know. What else can I do that I'm not doing now? It's either I eat, my children eat, and we're cold, or we stay warm and have bumbling bellies. Like, I don't want to have to make that choice.
Wow.
It's scary.
This is a proud community. Graft, grit, have got its people through hard times. But the fear here, perhaps for some for the first time, is that it won't be enough.
And Dan is here to talk about all that. Look, that was a very difficult watch, I think, for many people watching this programme. You know, it'll perhaps be distressingly familiar for anyone for whom it isn't. It's just awful to watch people in that much pain and fear. They were some of the many voices you've been listening to. Paint a picture, if you will, of what you found.
I don't think I can put it better than what Lindsay said at the end there, really, which I think sums up, and they all said it, Joseph said it, Liz said it, many people we met said it, which is, what more can I do? And I think that's the heart of this. We use the word fear in that. You talked about it at the start, we talked about it in the report. The fear comes from not knowing what more you can do to get through it. There's been previous economic downturns, financial troubles, and people say, right, I'll cut back on this, I'll do less of that, I'll work a few more hours. What do you say to Lindsay? She's working full time. She's cut back everything she can. She's already having to think about the idea of putting the heating on or feeding her children. And I think you said it right there. There'll be people watching this programme for whom that is now their reality. You then chuck in the uncertainty of what's been happening over the last couple of weeks. It was while we were in North Shields that the economy took that huge downturn. And as we were leaving North Shields, the government completely flipped its economic policy. And now so they're left with even more uncertainty. One of the few consolations.
You know the baddest thing is as well, yeah? So that last woman at the end, the one with like the reddish hair, the one with the little girl that was trying to give him the gingerbread man. She's gone through the struggles, or she's going through struggles and that. And she won't make sure that her daughter gets an education. She will be happy and content with her daughter just doing some sort of admin work, which looked like she was doing. I saw her at the end on the laptop and that, so it looked like she's just doing some kind of admin work or whatever in it. It's that history repeats itself. Look at the situation that you're in and ask yourself, are you mirroring, are you walking down the same path as your parents? That doesn't mean that, because your mum's an admin worker, you have to be an admin worker. But what I'm saying is, are you in the same sort of tax bracket or wage bracket as your mum? You're supposed to, or your dad. History repeats itself. If you come from a single parent household or you come from humble beginnings and you grow up poor and that, more than likely you're going to grow up poor. If you come from a middle class background and that, and you get me, you come from a little well-to-do family, more likely you're going to be well-to-do. You have to break the fucking cycle for the better. So if you come from a working class poor family and that, you need to make sure that you fucking, you need to make sure you make the effort to not be poor again. God forbid. You get me? I remember times walking around and during summer holidays and that when man was a youth with 20p in my pocket, blood. I never want to go back to that. Yeah? Since I've been in school making money, money's never been tight. The only time money was tight was after school, when I was on road and that, doing my little idiot foolishness and that. But since I got a job from the age of 19 and that, money's always been good for me. I'm not getting twisted. I'm not living no life of luxury and that, but yeah, I was always able to afford stuff. But that mum there won't use this as a life lesson and think to herself, you know what? I didn't study. I didn't get myself an education or whatever. So this is why I'm struggling. She won't think to herself, right, let me make sure, I don't know what the little girl's name was, gets an education. Let me make sure my daughter makes something of herself so she don't have to go through the struggles that I went through. But no, what's going to happen is her daughter's going to end up, I'm telling you, in 50, 60 years' time, her daughter is going to be some struggling pensioner. History repeats itself.
People had in North Shields was, yes, their energy bills are incredibly high, but they knew for 2 years they wouldn't go any higher. Now we know from April they may go up. They will go up. And will there be support? Who will be supported? Are benefits going to go up by inflation? What's going to happen with the pension triple lock? And it's not just fear here, it's a lack of hope. A hope that this is not going to go away and could, and it probably will, let's face it, get a lot worse.
All right, that's it. Stay where it's done now.